Go on, off your pot.
Are you refusing to serve me?
Oh, I'm doing more than that. You talk to my staff like that, you're bad. B-A-R-E-D. Bad.
You missed an R.
Did I?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. I'm a B-A-R-E-D, am I? From the grottiest pub in all of Manchester. Oh, whatever will I do?
I'll tell you what you'll do. You'll leave and you won't come back. You're bad. With 2 R's.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
Hello and welcome to episode 405 of The Talk of the Street, an unofficial Coronation Street catch-up podcast that was promised a dead body, and wants my dead body, god damn it, I'm Gavin.
And I detest Lisa's pantsuit. With all the pearls seeming to emerge from her skin.
Was she wearing a pants? I thought it was Carla that was wearing the pantsuit.
They're both wearing pantsuits, only hers is like a onesie sort of situation, and not a top and a bottom. But it's got legs.
Oh, and it knows how to use them.
Yes. Yes, someone said that it made it look like she had an outbreak of smallpox. But
On your wedding day?
to me, it's like, you know how when dead bodies are in like lakes or oceans or stuff, and the creatures living in the body of water will slowly
I feel like you're going to be uncharitable here.
take over the body and like attach themselves to the body. That's what the top half of Lisa's outfit looked. And like
Let me see, because I wasn't paying any attention.
the cut is really weird as well. Like, I'm not quite sure what that cut is supposed to be doing to her bosom, but it's not working for me.
Oh, well, thank you, Project Runway.
Also, boo bisexual erasure once again on Coronation Street. Because Carla's not a lesbian, she's bisexual.
Yeah, but if she was to marry Peter again, you wouldn't call that a bisexual wedding.
No, you're right, I wouldn't. Because Peter's not bisexual. Carla will still be bisexual even when inevitably she and Lisa break up.
No, but you'd call it you wouldn't call it. You just call it a wedding.
Right, and that's what we should be doing with members of the gay communities when they get married. Just call it a wedding.
Well, maybe it's because it happens so infrequently on things like Coronation Street.
Yes, well
and
done,
EastEnders.
Coronation Street, for, finally pulling yourself up from your bootstraps, considering how long gay marriage has been legal in the United Kingdom.
I sense that you're going to be a peculiar nuisance this evening.
I'm getting all my nuisances out right now, I think.
I actually thought it was quite lovely.
I'm happy for them. I enjoyed the wedding. Except, of course, that Fox's comment, but that was after the wedding. So
I enjoyed it more the second time I watched it. The second time I watched it, I had a little tear in my eye at one point, but we'll get to that as we're talking about.
That's nice.
We are talking about Coronation Street on minute 3.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, isn't it?
Very unusual. So
That's how strongly I felt about Lisa's outfit.
Having seen it again, it does have that kind of transparent, translucent.
It's got like a
sort of-
mesh, which the pearls are attached to. But I think maybe it's also the size of the pearls, because they're not actually pearls. They're like
they're mint
beads,
imperials.
pearl beads, but they're also big. It's like you want to call Dr. Pimple Popper to take care of Lisa's shoulders.
I don't know, everything sort of pales in insignificance when compared to Bethany's jewellery, doesn't it? Everything's small by comparison.
I mean, and see, this is
We're still
probably
talking about Corrie here.
this is probably the problem, is that Carla looks so fantastic.
She does. She's given me, and this is going to sound,
Maybe don't say it then.
I'm going to say it to you and then you can tell me whether I need to cut it out or not.
Okay.
The suit, not Carla, reminded me a little bit of Axl Rose in the November Rain video.
Yeah, I think that's fine to keep up. To me, it reminded me of all of the hope that we all had watching women like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez wearing white pantsuits to pay homage to the suffrage movement in both countries, where women wore white as they protested for the right to vote.
Having seen the images from the November Rain video, I don't know what the fuck I'm thinking of.
I was
I
about to say.
thought he was wearing
that-
white during that, but he's not.
No,
Anyway, this isn't an Axl Rose podcast.
it's not an Axl Rose podcast.
And we have very little time in our preamble section to check in on how each other are. Well, I can ask you, and then you can ask me, and then ignore what I say.
Sure.
How are you this week?
Yeah, I'm all right. Had to spend all day detangling jewelry and testing them to see if any of it was gold or silver yesterday, which gave me a backache. But overall, I'm fine. How about you?
Oh, you don't want to know. Shall we preamble, my dear?
See, this isn't me ignoring you. This is you not telling.
Well, no, because the last week I started to tell you, and then you changed the subject on me, and you did it twice. So, once bitten, twice shy.
That was not a Guns N' Roses song.
Once bitten, twice shy?
Yeah. Who was that? Was it Quiet Riot? My, once bitten, twice shy, babe.
It was, of course, Great White.
Yes, okay.
All right, shall we preamble, my dear?
Yes, please.
Give us some of those nuptial Corrie newsies.
Brooke Vincent may not be heading to the Cobbles
No.
anytime soon, but she will be joining the cast of Hollyoaks.
Good for
So
her.
we're going to see another familiar face in Hollyoaks, a show that neither one of us watch.
No, I haven't seen Hollyoaks in probably not this century.
Right. Good for her, though.
Yeah, very good for her.
Good for her. I like to see people's career expand when they leave.
It does, though, put paid to the rumours of her coming back.
Right, because, I mean, how many times is Sally going to mention the fact she's got a lesbian daughter?
That was one of the highlights of the week for me.
It was great. No Corrie tonight because of sport, I think. I'm not quite sure, but get ready, folks, for the month of June, where we probably will barely see any Corrie thanks to the World Cup.
Oh, no, I think what they'll do is they'll release it in the box sets that they did 4 years ago. They just released the whole weeks.
Right. Yeah, but you know how some people are. They want to watch Corrie when
I know.
it's on television.
I know, and I sympathise with that.
Yes.
A Monday and a Wednesday at 7:30, thank you.
Sharpen up those pitchforks, folks, and be sure to stab them into each and every soccer ball you see.
But that Friday, or the lack of the Friday episode this week, did mean that we had a Sunday episode this weekend past,
Right.
which I do enjoy. I like the Sunday episode. It doesn't bother you. You don't consume it the same way, but
It's true. I don't.
watching it on the weekend, I don't know, it just feels like a bit of a luxury.
See, weekend is me time.
That's true.
Oh, and finally, best wishes and speedy recovery to Tracy Shaw, Maxine Peacock on the show,
Maxime!
who was recently diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh dear.
So, all thoughts and prayers and good vibes to her
Absolutely.
during this ordeal. And that's Corrie News.
Like Artemis to the dark side of the moon. In other words, the feedback section that I like to call Everyone's a Critic. Quite a short Everyone's a Critic section this week in comparison to 2 weeks ago when I read out 14 limericks and last week when I got a musical.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, Stephen writes, I think Gav is measuring degrees of separation using the metric system because I also couldn't follow that and agree with Helen.
Oh, that's nice. You know what's funny? You know what movie I watched today?
Something with Kevin Bacon in it.
No, 6 Degrees of Separation.
Oh, how did they count it?
They count it the way you count it.
Yes, man! Yes!
So at least Donald Sutherland and you are in cahoots.
I always liked you,
Unfortunately,
Donald Sutherland.
and unfortunately, he's also now dead. So
No, it's just me then.
it's just you, and
Just me fighting the fight, Donald.
just you and a gay Will Smith.
Always in my heart.
It's actually quite a good movie. I can't believe I've never seen it before.
And Kevin Bacon's not in it.
Kevin Bacon's not in it.
Mr. Trick.
It's Donald Glover and Will Smith. I almost said Will Wheaton. That would be hilarious. And
Donald Sutherland.
didn't I say Donald
No,
Sutherland?
you said Donald Glover.
Oh. I always get the two of them mixed up. Yeah, Donald Sutherland and Will Smith.
I'll let you go there because I thought there's a chance that there's two Donalds in it.
And Ian McKellen, who is why I watched it. It's hilarious because in the scene that Ian McKellen is in, the Will Smith character references Cats and talks about how his father, Sidney Poitier, is going to make a Cats movie out of the musical. And he also mentions Lord of the Rings. And Ian McKellen is right there, the star of both movies.
It's a small world after all.
It is a small world, especially in the early 90s. Anyway, highly recommend 6 Degrees of Separation.
Especially now they count it the right way. See, my fridge writes, you know when you hear a word so many times you start believing the word doesn't really exist? It's,
Like fridge?
It's not a real word. Monologue. Yes, quite right. I think we probably said monologue slightly too often last week. We won't be saying it this week.
No.
No monologues here.
Nope.
No more monologues.
Nope.
We're done with monologues.
Yes. For this week.
Yeah. Lots of monologues next week.
Probably.
Then Noel writes, it seems that Todd's face is healing faster than a president's ear, and that Theo and Carla are having a good old-timey jerk-off. But not like that. Because they're both jerks. Jerks, if you prefer. Thank you very much to Noel, to Seal My Fridge, and to Stephen. Feedback's always welcome. Send your
Fridge.
thoughts, and I will...
Fridge is a word. If you say it over and over again, it kind of loses its meaning.
Fridge. Feedback's always welcome. Send your thoughts and I'll probably read them out. Get us at the talk of the street at gmail.com, or our DMs are open at Corrie Podcast, or we love it when people write actual letters to us. Send us your proper mail to the Talk of the Street, PO Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan 48827. Please note that we reserve the right to edit feedback only in the interests of brevity. And now we'll podcast for coffee. Thank you to Jem for our coffees this week. No comment from Jem, which is a wee shame. You know, if you're going to buy us a coffee, just leave a wee comment and we read it out. We also had a friend of the podcast move from Ko-Fi to Patreon.
Oh, interesting.
I thought for a second we had our second Cameron. It is a move that I can appreciate, and this, I don't want to do Ko-Fi out of any business, but if you become a friend of the podcast through Patreon, you get access to an RSS feed, which means that you can listen to the bonus podcasts through your regular podcast provider, and you don't have to go into the Ko-Fi site to listen to it. So if that's something that appeals to you, now you know. The Talk of the Street is and will always be free in your podcast provider and on the YouTubes, but if you think a show is worth anything more than the time it takes to listen to it, and if you want to show your appreciation, or if you want more weekly and monthly content, check out the links in this episode description, or head on over to corriepodcast.com. Click on Support the Pod and then Friend of the Podcast for $2 a month. You get access to our weekly spoiler show, the Talk of the Street Spoiler Alert, and our monthly classic Corrie show, the Talk of the Street Classics. We are running out of April.
Yeah.
We're going to need to record May's at some point this weekend or early next week.
Yeah. Well, also doing List of Lists on Sunday
Yeah.
and stuff.
Busy. For April, though, we were talking about episodes 2304 and 2305 from May the 2nd and 4th, 1983, that I was Bet and Betty trapped in a lake. And if that wasn't enough, you also get access to our Discord server, a shout out at the end of every podcast, your name on the credits in the flagship show, and we will happily enact your one-act play. If you prefer something a little less
recite your
formal,
poetry.
you can also buy us next week's coffee by clicking Buy Us a Coffee. Remember, you can always support the podcast for free. Get us in front of new listeners by liking, subscribing, rating and reviewing wherever you get your podcasts. All right, shall we dive in, my dear?
Yells, please.
We'll start the week with Meet the Driscolls.
Meet the Driscolls.
I have to say, I had expected quite a lot from this week's show, and I found quite a lot of this week kind of dull.
Yeah. Things didn't happen exactly as we were promised in the spoilers. And They're leaving. So why introduce Ollie and Will's mom
Melanie.
if we're barely going to see her?
Mm-hmm.
It feels wrong. And this is not the only storyline that I kind of felt was a bit of a damp squib, because they're like, ooh, we're building it all up. We're building it all up.
Did such a good job last week building it all up.
Right. And then this week is just building it up and building it up and building it up, and then nothing.
I didn't even feel that they were building very much up. There was bits of it when I look back and I think, oh, okay, that happened, and that was quite interesting. But as I was watching it and writing up notes for it, I was like, do you know, it feels like they've just taken the foot off the gas a little bit here.
Yeah.
And that felt odd, especially as I was expecting, or still expecting, something to be revealed on Thursday's episode.
Right.
Anyway, we'll get through it.
Besides just foxes.
What have you got against foxes?
It's not the foxes I have a problem with.
There was an advert for Miller Lite or Miller Pilsner in the UK. With this American guy wearing a hat that had a fox's tail on it. And he said, when I told my friends I was going to Auchtermuchty, they said, wear the fox hat. I thought it was funny. Meet the Driscolls then. On Sunday, Kit drops into the Rovers early in the morning to let the Driscolls know that thanks to no CCTV evidence and Will sticking to his story and no pregnancy anymore, the CPS are likely to drop the charges against Megan, or at least not pursue them.
Isn't it interesting that he says likely to?
I thought that was a strange
so it feels like
conversation to have. Because basically he's going round to say, I have nothing to tell you. Nothing concrete to tell you.
But he's also saying this, we're not moving forward at this time, which is kind of important for a family to know.
He's not even saying that at the moment either. He's saying that we probably won't. Don't tell me that you're probably not, and don't tell me that the CPS are probably going to drop the charges.
Right.
Tell me when they have, and then we know something for sure. Mm-hmm. They don't know it before he turns up, and they don't know after he leaves. Maggie is incensed by this, saying everyone knows that Megan's guilty. Well, tell everyone to hand over all their fucking evidence, says Kit. Will overhears her through the back and slinks off to school, but on his way he sees Megan down an alleyway or something and gives her the good news that the charges are likely to be dropped. Are we still on for Paris, he asks. She's a bit sleepy because people keep shouting pedo through her letterbox at 3 o'clock in the morning, but she claims to have bought tickets today, and that's a clear and obvious lie.
Right.
Will gives her a book, The Lover's Guide to Paris, thinking this is a romantic gift to give, and then goes off to school, and as soon as his back's turned, she throws the book in a dumpster and then sets fire to it.
Well.
Back at the pub, Ben is resigned to the fact that the police aren't going to be able to do anything and thinks that they should focus on healing. Fuck that, says Eva, and Maggie, for a change, is in full agreement.
Yes.
On Monday, the Driscolls are at each other's throats, blaming everyone and themselves for letting Will down. Ollie's spoken to his mother, and this seems to particularly wind Ben up, even more so when Ollie suggests that people would have been safer staying with her and not coming to Coronation Street in the first place.
Wait. Does their mom live in Hull? I don't remember them saying where she stayed.
I don't know. It was impossible to tell from her accent either.
Because if she also lived in Hull, it would have been just the same thing, because Megan was living in Hull at the time and was his coach in Hull at the time. So the abuse would have still gone on if they'd stayed in Hull. So
you disagree with Ollie here?
I do disagree with Ollie here. It's just something you just shout out when you have nothing better to say.
Maggie encourages Eva to go see Megan, although no one is quite sure what to do or say if they do see her. Maggie's had a go and it resulted in a miscarriage, so nothing Eva can do is going to make much difference. But when Eva gets to Megan's flat at the precinct, there's no one home and the place looks empty. Ben tracks Eva down to stop her doing anything rash, but Eva reveals how furious she is about all this, and she begs Ben to tell her how they can fix it and make Megan pay for what she did. On Tuesday, Leanne has the bright idea to search Will's room for clues to Megan's whereabouts. I'm amazed that no one's thought of this already.
Right.
I mean, he spends half the day at school.
Right.
The opportunity exists.
Of course, Toyah flutters a little bit like, oh,
yes,
invasion of privacy.
Toyah's scruples on the matter are ignored. The search draws a blank, but later, when Will throws his jacket down on the couch, Leanne springs into action, remembering that she used to hide cigarettes and booze in the lining of her coat when she was a kid, and sure enough, she finds a burner phone that only has one contact on it.
Megan.
Toyah's scruples are again overlooked when Leanne and Eva conspire to set up a meeting with Megan and then turn up with baseball bats. Later, Will is turning the pub upside down looking for his phone, but obviously can't report it missing, while Eva gets a text from Megan confirming a meeting tomorrow. So this is a much lauded meeting that we were looking forward to.
Yes.
That had a photograph of 3 women in coats fighting. I was
Yes.
quite looking forward to this.
Yes.
On Wednesday, Toyah, Leanne and Eva are all having breakfast in the pub, which arouses Ben's suspicions already, and they all witness a bizarre argument between Ollie and Will. Will's objecting to being called Little Bro. It seems all he did was offer to help Will look for something. For Leanne, this is like Simon's in the room, and I'm like, you're not alone.
No.
Outside, Maggie approaches him. Oi, Bananarama, what's going on? Eva explains the plan and invites Maggie along, but she sees someone head into the bistro and chooses to follow them instead. This is Melanie, and Maggie and Melanie are not best of friends.
No.
Maggie takes a seat at her table and asks what she's doing here. She's here for Will, having heard that Maggie and Ben have dropped the ball. Maggie's not happy with this.
No.
So, Bananarama corner Megan. Eva shows her the phone, but Megan pretends not to recognise it. And when Eva calls the Megan contact that's on the burner phone, everyone apart from Megan is surprised when they don't hear a phone ring because no one has heard of turning your phone on silent today. Megan denies any wrongdoings and makes a break for it, but she's tackled by Leanne, grabbed by the ears and wrestled to the ground. And Eva, in the stramash that follows, drops the burner phone but is able to put a tracker in Megan's bag. What's the importance of dropping the phone? Is it just because the evidence no longer exists?
I would imagine that the evidence is still on there. You know.
Text between the two of them.
Yes. The fact that she's the only person on there for a contact, the only person who's been called or texted to on that phone. Which, I'm not sure if I necessarily believe that. I would imagine someone Will's age would be using this phone for lots of different things and be calling people from it.
Wouldn't you be using his regular phone for that?
No, I can imagine like, oh, I've got a burner phone. Aren't I cool? Sort of. You know what teenagers are like.
The problem I have with burner phones is that I don't know anybody's number apart from yours. I don't know Stelly's number, and it's practically mine.
Yeah. I don't know Stelly's number either, or Benny's.
It's got no idea what Benny's is. I couldn't tell you what area code it is.
Or Nick's.
No.
Nick is still an 860, I think. I think Benny's is a 517 now.
Is it?
Anyway.
Fancy.
Yeah, people don't really memorize people's phone numbers anymore. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know my mother's cell phone number, but I do remember the phone number for the house phone.
I will never forget the house phone number.
Yeah.
Never.
Of course, she doesn't have it now, and that just puts me in a tailspin, but it's fine. It's fine.
Everything's fine.
Everything is fine.
Yeah, when you see people on the cop shows and on the movie thrillers that you get in the movies these days, Helen,
Yes.
and people have burner phones, it's like, well, how do you know the numbers of any of your contacts? Because if you have the numbers written down on a piece of paper, that defeats the purpose, really.
Right.
So it isn't long before the tall arm of the law drops into the Rovers to lift Eva for assault, even though Leanne was really the aggressive one. Meanwhile, Melanie meets the Driscolls again, and no one apart from Ollie is happy to see her, and Will runs out angrily saying that he doesn't need her help. Maggie thinks this about wraps it up for Melanie then, but Melanie's not going anywhere and reveals that she keeps in touch with Finlay, who has told her some interesting secrets about her husband and one Jim McDonald, so he has.
She's a little late to that party, isn't she?
Well, what exactly has Finlay told her? Has Finlay told her... Well, she
About
obviously
the
told
affair.
about Jim McDonald, but what about the clumsy, slow fall down the stairs that apparently...
Right. Wasn't it little Finlay who was like behind the door?
It was so hard to tell which young child actor that we don't know was watching.
I think
But
it is
I assumed it was Finlay. Otherwise, Ben
Right.
would have far more questions for his mother than
right.
he did have.
Although, a trauma like that, a young brain will just kind of erase and ignore.
Yeah, because the show's going to think about that.
I think the show roots for that every week.
Not a chance.
Oh, they've been through so much trauma. They're not going to remember this in about a year when we completely turn this person's personality upside down and make
No.
them do something they swore they'd never do.
No, I think it was Finlay who saw it, and Finlay remembered it. And Finlay, I think, has told Melanie about it.
Finlay remembers.
So why has Finlay not told Melanie about this before? Is it just the
Well,
affair?
We don't know when Finlay told her.
Oh, we don't.
He could have told her that ages ago.
Because Finlay doesn't know about Jim McDonald. So somebody must have told Finlay about Jim McDonald.
Or maybe he does know about Jim McDonald somehow. Just like he knows his mother pushed his father down the stairs, some very comfy carpeted stairs, and for some reason it killed him.
I'm liking this Finlay more and more, and we haven't really met him.
And not just because his name is Finlay.
It's a nice name.
It is a good name.
Eva is released with a warning, and as she's heading back to the pub, Megan comes out of the shadows and mocks her and tells her that she loves a bit of young cock, so she does, and she enjoyed
She's Irish now?
and she enjoyed every minute of getting her hole with Will. She thanks Eva for the phone, bids her good night, and leaves.
Right. She does also kind of insinuate that she's growing tired of him as well, though, in that little speech.
Oh, they're so exhausting.
Yeah.
But she also says that she enjoyed every minute of it.
Right. She enjoyed it, but it is exhausting, so I'm probably going to cast him aside as well. Never you mind.
I'm amazed that she hasn't done it already, the way that she threw that book out.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a bit of a power trip for her.
Yes.
Because these people know something that's true, and she's been able to make it seem like it's not true. Mm-hmm. And that there's a power to that.
On Thursday, Bananarama meet up in the bistro where Eva tells them about the run-in with Megan yesterday and her admission of getting her hole off a Will. This is the evidence they've been looking for, she says. Yeah, except it isn't really evidence, says Toyah.
Right, because you didn't the one time somebody doesn't have a recorder in their pocket or their cell phone turned on to recording, that would have been a thing to do.
Well, Megan just sort of jumped out of the shadows.
That's true.
She wasn't prepared for it. Leanne, though, has a great idea how to make Megan pay for good.
Murder.
And that's as far as we get with that this week.
Most foul.
So what were you expecting from the big fight?
Well, we were under the impression that they were going to leave Megan in a heap. A big old lump
A bloodied lump.
on the cobbles. And that didn't happen. And I was sorely disappointed. Wait a second. We were promised blood.
Yeah, it turned out to be fairly childish as well, because as soon as a grown-up turned up, they all ran away. I thought it was Will that was coming, whose attention had been attracted by all this, and it wasn't. It was just a actor on a non-speaking role.
Just a dude.
There was so much energy in the still that they used to promote this episode.
Right.
That I don't think really translated into the actual action that we saw.
Yeah. That tends to be the case, doesn't it?
The trackers are proving to be very popular these days, aren't they? This seems to be the way round about any plot inconveniences.
I just wish people would stop using them because it's exhausting. I'm exhausted watching yet another tracker be placed in yet another purse or pocket or underneath your car.
Who was it? Was it someone planted one on Sam? Or did Sam plant one on Maggie? It was Maggie who planted
It
the
on
tracker
Will.
on Will.
Yeah.
Right. And then obviously, famously, Theo tracking Todd.
Don't get me
Todd
started.
tracking Theo. And Jenny tracking Liz. The OG Liz Trump tracker. Yeah, it was a bit... This is, I guess, what I mean about the damp squib of it all. After the head of steam that was built up in all these storylines last week. And this week, it just didn't seem to go anywhere. There were moments through this that were interesting, but an awful lot of this story was just a few scenes, a couple of scenes here and there, and nothing much getting beyond the fact that everyone is really annoyed at what's happened and no one knows what to do, and Maggie's desperate for any kind of action to happen. That was the same last week.
Yeah. Yeah, I expected more from this week than what we got. I think a lot of people feel that way.
It only gets worse.
And they're not shy about it. Even on Blue Sky, people are mad.
People are mad on Blue Sky?
I know.
Oh my God.
It's crazy.
Red Sky. A little bit more happens in the next storyline, but it's mostly funny voices in Theo No Sleeves. On Sunday, Carl drops in to see Summer at the shop and makes a play to get his money now, or at least some of it. Summer, though, didn't come down in the last shower, though, and tells Carl to suck her balls. She wants to know what his plan is, and she's less than impressed when Carl reveals that his plan is to goad Theo into assaulting him. That's it. That's your plan, she says.
Yeah.
Fucking love Summer. Also, going to jail for assaulting Carl isn't the same as going to jail for murdering Billy or shoving Mike.
Yes. Yes.
In Sunday's episode, if James Cartwright can deliver his lines in a silly voice, he does so. All right, Gazza, he says when he runs into Gary at the precinct. Theo winds Gary up, and Todd must hate Sarah for breaking into his van, but Gary stupidly reveals that Todd and Sarah are off to the weekend, so fuck you. Theo knocks Gary's coffee out of his hand like a little boy, and the two of them dance for a little bit until Carl intervenes and puts himself between them and not wanting Gary to get credit. Screw you guys, I'm off to get an hot pot, says Theo, and off he goes.
Yikes.
Carl follows him, and there are more voices on display as Theo tries to get served by Lauren and Gemma, and even does a passable impression of Liam Gallagher. But Eva is quickly on to bar him, although Lauren has to point out that she spelt bard with one R.
Yes.
When it's Lauren who tells you that you're spelling things wrong. And Eva's like, is it?
Yeah.
When Theo leaves, Carl follows him out and calls him pathetic for picking fights with barmaids. Theo wonders if Carl fancies him or something, but then, when Carl encourages him to hit him as Tracy passes by, Theo decides that Carl is in cahoots with Todd and is deliberately goading them. When Carl starts swiftly fiddling about in his pocket, Theo thinks that he's been recorded and he rips Carl's phone out of his hand, but no, he's not been recorded. That wasn't a thing.
No.
That was strange.
Oh.
So what are you fiddling about in your pocket for then? Having a wee game of pocket billiards?
Yeesh. Right there on the street?
In public?
Yeah.
It's strange when someone says, you look like you're recording me, and the outcome of that is, no, you're not recording me. It's just a strange false promise.
Right, yeah.
That you'd think a little bit more of Carl if he was recording him.
Right.
Although, recording him and doing everything in his power to make it look like he was recording him.
You know what scene in all of this that I found quite funny and was the scene that I probably enjoyed most this week? When Eva goes to the back and Ben and Maggie are in an uproar that she barred someone and this should be a joint decision and everything. Blah, 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 blah. You can't do this without talking to us first. Blah, 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 blah. And then she's like, it's Theo. And they're both like, oh, yeah, no, that's good.
Fair enough.
Love it.
Yep. You're not very good at this, says Theo, and he promises that when he does hit Carl, it won't be in broad daylight. It'll be at night when Carl is least expecting it, and it'll fucking count.
Dum, dum, dum.
Kit shows up and sends them both on their way. Carl goes to see Summer and tells her that his stupid plan was stupid and it failed. Scared? She asks. Summer's take no prisoners.
Seriously.
He admits that he is. Theo is dangerous and not in a good place, and this will not end well. He suggests that Summer keeps her money and gets on with her life. Later at night, as Carl's walking down the street for no reason, he's accosted by a hooded fisherman from I Know What You Did Last Summer. And whoever it is follows Carl into the gunnel and then twats him. And the fisherman takes down his hood and reveals himself to be Sarah Michelle Gellar. And then Sarah Michelle Gellar reveals herself to be Ronnie. You, says Carl. It wasn't supposed to be you. Ronnie is confused, kicks Carl in the guts, and then wanders off.
As one should.
It was quite funny seeing this hooded figure
Right.
standing, I think, where Megan was standing later on in the week.
Right. It's a popular spot.
Popping out, and then it's good to see Carl getting lamped.
Yes.
I enjoyed that.
And I enjoyed the fact that it was Ronnie who did so.
Yes, with his incredible arms.
Yes.
Talking of which, Kumail Nanjiani on Taskmaster,
Uh-huh.
might check his arms out.
I
He can also make his boobs dance.
am well versed in the muscles of Kumail Nanjiani. Don't you worry.
Everyone on the show just seems fascinated by them. And one of the women was like, I don't think he's got any nipples. She finds out.
He
that
does indeed have nipples.
It wasn't winning any awards for originality, which makes the Megan stuff later on in the week even less original. But having somebody with a hood up
Yeah.
was giving me traitor vibes as well as I Know What You Did Last Summer vibes. And I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah. Plus, Carl gets hit.
But why does Ronnie keep on going in half-cocked and that sort of thing? Because he didn't really do anything. I mean, Carl was still conscious when he left him.
Right. Yeah.
He'd been punched in the face and kicked in the stomach.
And that should be enough.
I'm not sure what he expected to happen after that Carl was just going to run away.
Maybe it was just a stress release for Ronnie.
Maybe.
I hit him. Now I'm happy.
On Monday, Christina has taken out a full-page ad in the Weather Gazette to put Shuttleworth back on the map, although he remains unconvinced. Meanwhile, Summer speaks with Abby and learns of Carl being beaten up in another storyline. Oh no, in this storyline.
Yes.
She's clearly worried that Theo was behind this, but keeps it to herself. What goes around comes around, says Abby on her way out. When she's gone, in comes Theo, and he locks the door and changes the sign to closed. He wants a word with his ex-stepdaughter. Summer warns him about the cameras and tells him to get out, but this doesn't dissuade him. He has some things to get off his chest, such that Todd really is the master manipulator here, and one day she's going to see the truth. Are you fucking mental,
kidding?
she says.
Are you kidding?
You killed Billy.
It's yeah. No, this whole interaction is so creepy. I wanted Summer, once he left, to go immediately to the police station and get a restraining order on him. Because he basically tells her that if she doesn't leave it alone, he's going to murder her too. So I feel like that's grounds for a restraining order for Summer as well as for Todd.
She doesn't even take the day off or stop working in the shop where this is likely to happen again.
Right.
She says to him, you killed Billy, just after I lost Paul, and now all I have left is Todd, who you've destroyed.
Right.
She tells him to fuck off, and on his way out, he snarls that Billy was a pathetic shit when he died, begging for his life. Todd is mine, he says. Don't make me bury you too.
Yeah.
And she tells nobody this.
I think she tells George eventually. Doesn't
She tells somebody the next day, but
Yeah.
this doesn't go to the police. The police don't know
No.
officially the suspicion that Theo is behind Billy's death.
Right. Yes.
On Tuesday, in Devs, Summer recounts this to George, who's furious, and consoles Summer, who's still shaken up by the whole affair, but not shaken up enough to go to the police.
Right.
And George isn't
And
shaken up
George
enough to
doesn't-
tell her.
Right. Yeah. It's like, why are you guys not going to the police immediately?
Later, Theo is noising Gary up on the street with his funny voices again when George approaches him and warns him that if he goes near Todd or Summer again, he won't be responsible for his actions. Theo finds this hilarious, tells George and Gary he has no intention of leaving Weatherfield, and wanders away, looking kind of homeless, it has to be said at this point.
Yes. And also, I don't think if a man George's size came up and said, I won't be held accountable I won't be responsible for my actions, I would not laugh. George is taller than Theo. George is taller than everyone but Kit. So George could put some hurt on Theo, I believe.
I don't know, do you think he can fight?
Yes.
George?
Yes. He puts people in the ground, doesn't he?
Yeah, nature's taking care of most of that work, as to be said. I think George certainly has probably the weight advantage and the height advantage.
Yep.
Theo, I think, can handle himself.
I don't know.
He hooked Carol, let's not forget.
But who punched Theo out that one time? Somebody's beaten Theo up too. I can't remember who it is. It's not important. But yes, especially if it's George and Gary, then he's in for a rough night.
Yeah, I don't think
Double G!
I don't think he rates Gary at all because of the height thing.
Which is ridiculous because Gary was trained to fight.
Gary can't handle himself despite getting
at-
beaten up by David.
At Her Majesty's pleasure at the time.
Yeah.
So Gary can handle himself.
But at this point, Theo's just so off the rails that even if Mike Tyson was to threaten him, Theo's probably going to laugh in his face.
I mean, he'd probably laugh
Mike
in
Tyson
Mike Tyson's
is
face.
still my go-to touch point to the world of boxing. Let me think. Anthony Joshua. There we go.
There you go.
On Wednesday, Theo has been sleeping in his van, which is parked on the street for some reason.
And there's nobody in the apartment, so why is he sleeping in the van?
And he comes out to find Miles walking by. Miles is disgusted that Theo has resorted to this, and Theo apologises for not listening to him and Millie before because, well, you know.
Yes.
He asks Miles to have a word with Danielle to let him come home for a couple of nights, and at this, Carl appears, cooees Theo, and remarks that if him and Theo are to get their hole in the van again tonight, he's going to need something more cushion to save his knees. This was quite funny.
It was quite funny.
Miles, still a raging homophobe, calls Theo disgusting and storms off. Theo is naturally furious with Carl for fucking up his relationship with Miles, but Carl points out that it was pretty fucked up beforehand, probably starting when they started poking Todd. Theo grabs Carl just as Kit walks by. Hello, 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 hello.
What's all this?
So he sends Theo on his way and tells him to move his van as well. Later, at the Undertaker's, Kit tells all this to Todd, who's just back from a relaxing break with Sarah. George thinks that if it was so relaxing, maybe he should go away for a longer break. Oh, that sounded quite threatening. That wasn't how he said it.
No.
So Todd gets on the phone to his mum and arranges to go see her in Thailand. He leaves tomorrow. Now he just needs to get the last of his stuff out of the flat, and then he's off.
Yes.
As he closes his curtain, we see Theo lurking outside. As soon as Todd says, yeah, I just need to pick up the last of my stuff from the flat, you think, just don't bother. Take the clothes that are on your back, buy some new clothes when you get to Thailand. It'll be fine. Because as soon as he goes back to the flat, you kind of know what's going to happen. And this is more or less confirmed on Thursday. We see Todd dragging his suitcase down the street to get the last of his stuff out the flat. And he's not suspicious at all about all the scaffolding that's been suddenly put up around it.
Yes.
On the scaffolding, having a crafty wee look inside the flat, is a man in fluorescence who looks the exact build of Theo and is very, very careful to
Not
conceal
show
his
face.
identity with a plank. And that's as far as we get with that this week.
I am so tired of Theo. I'm so tired of this whole storyline. I'm tired of all of a sudden Miles shows up, who we haven't seen in like 4 months, even though there's a court order that he must spend time with his father.
I believe you mentioned that.
And then, you know, the second he gets a whiff of homosexuality again,
He's off.
he's off. It's like, what was the point of that? Just to make Carl mad? You dragged that poor kid back to filming just to make Theo mad at Carl. That poor kid. I'm sure he's got
He's getting paid.
end of the year stuff to do for school.
Oh, you think he's still in school?
Yes. He looks like he's still in school.
That's because he's wearing a school uniform.
Well, that does help. Did you have a school uniform?
Yes.
Why are there no pictures of you in your school uniform?
So that's...
I've yet to see one.
There's a picture of me in the wall in my school uniform.
Is there?
Yeah.
I framed those pictures. I
Yeah,
should
my-
remember.
Carnshaw Primary School uniform.
Oh, that's so cute.
There's also a Labrador High School uniform, but...
Nobody wore that.
Oh no, we wore that, but I didn't take a good picture in those days. There was the hair
Whatever for.
and the plooks, a blue and silver tie, a blue blazer.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah. Only private schools here have uniforms. Because we're an individualist society.
The point of the uniform, the point of the super expensive uniform with the $100 or the £100 blazer, £100 in 1986 or whatever.
That you were going to grow out of very quickly.
Yeah, had to get a new blazer practically every year.
Right.
Was to remove pressure from kids having to buy the latest and greatest
Right. Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. I've heard, not here, but back in Connecticut, there were noises that we were going to start doing that. And it just fizzled because, like you said, a lot of that crap is super expensive.
Super expensive. The tie was super expensive, I remember. Just for a stupid tie.
Right. And kids are going to be kids. Kids know. Kids know who the rich kids are and the poor kids.
There was grades of blazer, let's say.
Yeah.
There was a lovely, cosy Barathea one, which I feel rather ashamed to admit that I had.
Right.
And then there was a slightly off-colour one that looked very thin and flimsy and... Yeah, so...
Then again...
It fooled nobody.
You know, I'm all for, free school breakfasts and lunches
Oh,
and
100%,
everything.
yes.
Which is one of the things making it available to all is to not shame the poor kids who desperately need it.
Yes, you have to take in a bright yellow form into school.
Right.
That's got free school dinners written on it or whatever.
Right, yeah. That erases it if it's for everybody.
So the interesting part of this week was, where has Theo, man of 1,000 voices, been this entire time? If he was walking through Weatherfield for the past year, just dropping strange accents and different speech patterns into conversations, I think I might have liked him a little bit more than I did.
Yeah.
This was a...
Except, of course, for the whole
no, what am I going to do?
beating
thing
up
that he did.
Todd thing.
Yeah, sure.
I think it's meant for us to be convinced even more that he's a psychopath.
Yes.
I'm not quite sure it works by making him look ridiculous.
No, it was very ridiculous.
And goofy. I did not like that scene where he's, threatening Summer, though. That whole thing. It took all of my being to not fast forward through it because it made me so uncomfortable.
Yeah, when he locked the door.
Yeah. And flipped
So
the
he
sign.
does carry a certain menace still. And plus, Summer is so small in
Right.
comparison.
Absolutely.
The threat, the power was definitely in one direction rather than the other. Yeah, I thought that was even more unsettling almost than the scenes where Theo's approaching Todd and ready to hit him. It was almost worse when it's Summer, and it was in bright daylight in a bright shop, and you know that the cameras are there, and that should protect her to a certain extent. But yeah, the threats were it was quite uncomfortable. Summer was superb though when she's sticking up to Carl. It's good that the show remembers that Carl's not too bright.
Right.
That his idea of getting Theo to confess to anything is to get himself beaten up in the process.
Right.
And when he was running around the back of him, tugging on him and whatnot,
And goading him.
just so obviously trying to goad him,
Right.
so obviously getting involved in something that's not none of his business.
Right.
But the point, I think, remains that even if Theo did deck Carol, is he going to get like a month in jail at the most?
Right.
Eva assaults Megan and gets let off with a warning. So
Right.
getting him put away for assault isn't the same as delivering the justice that I think Summer was offering to pay for.
I don't know. I mean, Eva hasn't exactly been on the wrong side of the law very often in her life. Whereas Theo is still under investigation for beating up his boyfriend, if he was to beat up another bisexual man, even just lightly,
A light beating.
it could qualify as a hate crime.
Summer, I think, is expecting justice.
Yes.
Proper justice.
Yes.
Prison for the rest of his life justice.
Yes.
That's not what Carl was going to achieve here by
No.
tugging on Theo's sleeves when he's in the Rovers
I
trying to
think-
order a pint.
I think he was also thinking that once Theo is in for that, then that could be used as evidence of wrongdoing towards, I almost said Tim Todd.
Poor Tim.
Nobody's beating Tim up.
He's keeping us quiet. All right, our next storyline is Sucks to be a Webster. On Monday, Debbie's lovely home-cooked breakfast is ruined by a call from the hospital telling her about Carol, and she doesn't need a calculator to put two and two together here and reach the conclusion that Ronnie was behind this. How could you do it, she says. He deserved it, says Ronnie. How could you do it to me, says Debbie. See what she did there?
I do.
But Ronnie refuses to apologise, saying that Carl is a total shitbag. There's only so much you can take, and only so much you can let Carl break Debbie. Debbie goes to see Carl, who is milking this for everything that it's worth. His memory is strangely hazy on the matter of what happened, but this conversation might change that, he says. He paints himself as the injured party and all this and blames Debbie and Ronnie for everything. Debbie refuses to be a pushover about this, and when Carl threatens to tell the police it was Ronnie who beat him up, Debbie has had just about enough of it. You're capable of change, she says. You just don't want to. And that's great, because when I forget who you are, I won't be confused that you were a total prick. He grabs her hand as she attempts to leave and he kisses it. And then he demands half of the rape hotel right now. The only thing that she truly loves. Otherwise she'll be spending most of her remaining good days speaking to Ronnie through glass. How long does he expect Ronnie to get for this?
Seriously.
Couple of days.
And also, you know, you're grabbing her hand and kissing it like you're finally acknowledging your wrongdoing. And then you say something like, give me half your business.
It turned into
or
a
Ronnie
mafia
gets
kiss.
it. No, that's cheek to cheek, isn't it?
Well, he's lying down. On Tuesday, Debbie tells Ronnie about Carl's ultimatum and how she couldn't survive if Ronnie was sent down even for a short stretch inside. Carl, meanwhile, is making himself popular at the rape hotel by drinking the bar dry from the bartender side, and when he's approached by Ryan, Carl explains that half of the hotel and half of the bar is now his. That was really quick, and if Ryan doesn't like it, he can suck in his balls. He preempts the completion of paperwork, says Debbie's signing it over to him, and he fires Ryan on the spot.
Yeah. That's not going to stick.
No. Back at the flat, Ronnie thinks the only way to deal with this is to suck it up like a big boy with impressive arms and admit to the police about the assault. Debbie, though, wants one last chance with Carl. But when she meets him, Carl isn't interested in opening up negotiations again. He doesn't want money. He wants half a rape hotel. Debbie mocks him for sounding like a small child. He doesn't reckon that she'd have a clue what that sounds like, as she always gave her kids away. I've tried to love you, says Debbie, but you know what? You're just unlovable.
Yeah.
And you're a twat.
Right, yeah. And that was really impressive, too. It's kind of like, you know, all of this is not my fault.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I gave you away to your grandparents when I had you, but those people raised me and Kev as well. Well, okay, I'm going to take Kev out of this equation.
And not the horrible mother.
Right, and we turned out fine, so...
That's because Bill was okay, but it was the horrible mother.
Yeah, but was it?
Well, according to Carol, yes, that's exactly what it was.
Right, yes, but do we believe anything Carl says?
Yeah, I think so.
Sometimes people are just bad people, and you can't blame the mum, absent or otherwise.
No, she wasn't absent. She was there, but she never loved him.
Yeah, I'm speaking about Debbie.
Oh, I see.
That's what Debbie was saying.
This stings Carl, and he storms off back to his room, where he turns on the bath and the sink. I was thinking, don't they have overflows? Apparently not. And he's kind enough to flip over the mattress before he leaves. That broken rib that he has seems to have mended quite nicely.
Right?
As Carl picks up his stuff and leaves. On Thursday, Carl shows up at the Rape Hotel and Ryan is ready to throw him out when Debbie intervenes. She called him here to give him a final payoff and then to disappear out of their lives. She never wants to see him again. Never ever, says Carl. Do you want to give me that money back? Asks Debbie. Nah, you're all right, says Carl. Yeah, fuck off, you prick. I wish I'd never laid eyes on you, says Abby. And Carl bites back savagely, reminding her that she cheated on her husband when he had cancer. 2 of her kids are on the other side of the planet, and one of them is cold in the ground.
And that was fucked up.
Yep.
I wanted to punch Carl then and there.
See, this is why you need to fuck off forever, says Debbie. She wishes him well, gives him a pendant, and then leaves him to it.
Isn't that it was like a St. Christopher's, wasn't it? I don't know. I thought it was, initially I thought it was his little like wristband from when
Just
he was,
to really rub it in?
when he was born. But I think she already gave that to him, didn't she? Or did she
What
take
would
it
he
back?
want with it?
Well, it's his.
It's her memento.
Right. But he's the
It's
baby.
not so much of a memento to him.
He's the baby.
That's going straight in the bin if she's giving it to him.
Yeah. At this point, I feel like she would probably throw it away herself.
So that's as far as we get with that. And there are bits of this, like I said, there are bits through all of this that I think are decent. But it's decent that's mostly wrapped up in things that have already happened already, and they were just going round one last time. Because Debbie's been angry at Carl and forgiven Carl, and been angry at Ronnie and forgiven Ronnie. And she's done all that before. And we've kind of gone round this merry-go-round with Ronnie trying to get rid of Carl and getting, what's her name, Fiona involved in it and then cancelling it. And then, you think that this is final because we're going into an episode where we expect someone to die. That
Right.
This is the kind of final crescendo. But if this was just another week, you'd expect Debbie to maybe change her mind next week, or Carl says something that manages to get himself back into her good favour again and promise that he's changed and stuff. So this still felt, although there are good moments in it, still felt very much like holding pattern.
Yeah. Still, it builds up intrigue. The fact that somebody already knocked him down once this week, that he's supposed to go away and never come back, that Debbie has essentially disowned him after just claiming ownership like a month ago. He doesn't have anything else to lose. It kind of feels like he's not coming back. And whether that means he's the body, he's Mr. Body here, or he's just going to fuck off to Germany and never darken our doorstep again. One way or another, he's gone.
I don't know. I think he's hanging about. I don't know that he has anywhere else to go.
Germany.
I think he's enjoying just being an asshole too much.
Yeah, but
If he goes back to Germany, I imagine he'd be back fairly quickly. Because he's a good villain.
He has no job. He has no place to live.
He's got a shitload of money now.
Yeah. How far is that going to go, though?
Well, if he's careful and invests wisely, who knows? I know we disagree on this, but I think Carl is a good villain. I think he's proved to be a good villain again this week. What he said to Abby really was so below the belt.
Seriously.
And what this week really did, and for this storyline anyway, was put Abby in the frame for potentially being the one to kill him if he was to die, which I don't think he is. But this was, let's add a few more suspects to the potential list here.
Maybe it will be Murder on the Orient Express and everybody takes a stab at him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate that.
Weren't we also led to believe that the hotel was getting burned down at some point? Or was that a few weeks ago?
I think it's Roy's. Nina's
No.
Rolls.
He hired someone to burn it down.
Yeah, he did. And then Ronnie caught the guy. And the guy said, fuck this for a month of Sundays and left.
So that's it then.
And that's it.
So
Carl's not lighting that place on fire himself.
Or finding anyone else who can do it.
Right. But he is going to flood it.
That's like the opposite of setting it on fire.
You're right. Still effective, though.
But it really does.
You really think they have it in the budget to light 2 fires in 1 year?
They didn't light one.
I know.
What the flooding does is it spoils part of another storyline.
Right.
But doesn't spoil it enough,
No.
which is a good thing. All right, next up, sister from the same mister. On Monday, as predicted, Shona and David have caved and Lily's got that stolen tablet. Jodie, though, is absolutely transfixed by a flyer that's come through the door for Haul North, a trucking company. David jokes that maybe she's thinking about hitting them up for a job, but later, Jodie's on their website, which David clocks, and now he really does think that she's after a job there. She admits it, saying maybe that they have something going in their office. I don't know, Jodie, women can drive trucks too, you know.
Yes.
David thinks that Shona will be happy that Jodie's planning on sticking around. Just Shona? Asks Jodie. All of us, says David, somewhat awkwardly, and Jodie smiles, satisfied. On Tuesday, Jodie is leaving the house to take David for a walk, and she shits her unders when she sees that wee lassie from a few weeks ago standing outside number 8.
David's job. Although
Walking
he
the dog.
doesn't wear pants. But it's David's job to shit in the street.
And it says so much that I couldn't remember that wee lassie's name, and nor could I be bothered to look it up.
You know what I appreciated? This little detail that I appreciated? Jodie's got poop bags now. She picks up the little packet of poop bags before they go on their walk.
That's that storyline done.
Yes.
She's learnt her lesson.
Yes. Although I think
What was
she
the
had
lesson that she learned? I'm not sure she did learn a lesson.
not to punk Adam with dog poop.
What the fuck are you doing here? Next we know, Jodie has invited the wee lassie in, which is a bit of a surprise, as Shona's home, and Shona has no problem quizzing the wee lassie to understand how long Jodie was her nanny, and she invites her to stay for her dinner, despite Jodie's best efforts to encourage her to fuck off. The wee lassie says that Jodie was their nanny for years and she was just the best. And it's funny how just the slightest compliment makes Jodie change her opinion or something.
Yeah.
The wee lassie says that once Jodie's protection thing is done, maybe the two of them could go shopping.
Ooh.
And this piques Shona's interest. What protection thing? Jodie explains that it was something that the wee lassie's parents put in place, some kind of guardrail thing. And Shona seems satisfied as inexplicably Jodie leaves Shona and the wee lassie together in the same room alone.
Yeah.
Why did she invite her in?
It would be rude not to. You're going to leave a wee
Well-
lassie outside the door?
Well, if it's rude, so be it. You're supposed to be in the witness protection thing,
Right.
which the wee lassie knows is bullshit,
Right.
as we will learn.
Yes.
But the whole thing of letting her into the house, walking out the room to let her talk to God knows who about God knows what, letting her stay for dinner, all of that pales into insignificance when on Wednesday, the wee lassie's still fucking there.
I know.
She
What's up
spent
with
the
that?
night-
She spent the night?
Why? Why is this happening?
Which will make the end of this story even funnier.
She's there the next morning and she's dogging school, much to Lily's chagrin. She begs Jodie to stay for a little bit longer because Jodie's the best. And so, once again, Jodie relents when she gets a compliment. And later, the wee lassie employs this trick again, telling Jodie how good she is to get her own way. This time it's to get Jodie to make some of her trademark cinnamon bagels for the trip home. Well, it takes a couple of hours to make.
Yes.
Says Jodie, but they're just the best. And my mum tried to make them and they were nowhere near as good as yours. Oh, well, I'll go off and get the ingredients, says Jodie. And as soon as she leaves the room, the wee lassie's suddenly rifling through Jodie's bag. But Jodie isn't as daft as she looks, and she doubles back and catches the wee lassie in the act. What the fuck are you up to?
Right.
The wee lassie says that she knows that she stole something from her dad and is looking for a hard drive. This must be the flash drive that we saw in the trinket box.
Ooh.
See, when you call that a hard drive,
Yeah.
that's not what I think of.
No. Think of like a little box for the hard
A
drive.
little metal box that you
Right. That you
stick
plug
in a
into.
computer.
Yeah. Yeah. This is just a thumb
A
drive.
thumb drive, a flash drive.
Yeah. As small as your thumb.
Jodie pushes the wee lassie against the door, tells her that she doesn't have anything of her dad's, and tells her to tell him that, but then also tells her not to tell him where she is, or else, she
Right.
threatens. That ship, I would say, has sailed. The wee lassie runs out the house and is picked up by two street toughs in a car.
Who have what? Been there all night? Waiting for her to come out? They slept in that car? What is going on?
They're in a remarkably good mood if that's what's happened.
Right? It's hilarious.
She tells them that she couldn't get the drive and asks what they're going to do to Jodie. Whatever your dad tells us to do, says one of the toughs.
Dum dum dum.
And they drive off. I did like the introduction of street toughs into this.
Yes, me too. It makes me wonder about this wee lassie's dad, though, who can afford to hire a nanny, but is also like employing thugs.
He's a master criminal, clearly.
Yeah, clearly.
Or it's Harvey. I honestly don't think it's Harvey, but
No.
wouldn't it be funny
I was gonna
if this
say-
was another Harvey gang thing?
I thought I was gonna say Rick the Chin, even though he's dead now.
The ghost of Rick the Chin.
The ghost of Rick the Chin returns to water his plants.
Not water them, dust them. Now, this is just another intriguing part to this story, and I know some people are losing patience with it. I'm sticking with it.
It feels like we've come. This is the storyline that I think has moved the most.
I thought it was interesting that the wee lassie, whose name I think we find out tomorrow is
Olivia?
Olivia. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Olivia wasn't just a random meet-up after a school trip that she said, or maybe it was, but she's
Maybe
gone back
it
and she's
was,
told
now
her dad
she's told
after
her dad
all.
where she is.
But having her in on something
Right.
against Jodie, and something clearly quite serious, and do you know, credit where it's due, the girl who's playing Olivia, when she is not trying to be sweetness and light with Shona and Jodie, and when she's far more gruff,
Yeah.
speaking to the street toughs,
Right.
I thought she was great.
She did a good job.
I thought the contrast between the two characters that she's playing there
Very
was
good.
really, really good.
Yes.
And also there's a bit of concern over, like, are you going to kill her? Or was it concern, or was it checking to make sure that that was what was going to happen?
It felt a little concerning.
I thought so.
Yeah.
So on Thursday, Jodie is like a hen in a hot girdle, and she thinks that someone's spying on her house from the garden in number 8. It's Kirk. Hiya!
Hiya!
Shona's dead suspicious of this and guesses that Jodie's ex has tracked her down, and Jodie decides to tell at least a version of the truth that Olivia, the wee lassie, is her ex's daughter, and that she stole a flash drive from him as an insurance policy, but now he wants it back. It really was this ex who threw her in the back of Graham's van from Corrie during Corriedales to finish her off, but not like that.
Nope.
Shona thinks that she should give the drive back, but Jodie says, did you not hear the bit where I said that this was an insurance policy? In that case, says Shona, you need to sling a hook, for your sake as well as ours. And she throws her out, and Jodie is devastated. And that's as far as we get with that. Yeah. I am slightly amazed at the questions that Shona didn't ask. Like, what's on the flash drive?
Right.
Why is it an insurance policy?
Right. It's like, if it's an insurance policy, then why are they trying to kill you?
Yeah, if it's an insurance policy, it's not doing its
It's
job.
not working. Because they've tracked you down and they've threatened your life.
And they've sent the wee lassie in to get this. Which, presumably, now that that gig's up,
Right.
they're not going to be tiptoeing round about this anymore.
No.
It's going to be kicking the door down, sort of
Yes.
thing. No, it was very strange behaviour throughout the week with these interactions with Olivia. I was glad that she showed up again, because it was seeming more and more like whatever this was important for, it had already been dealt with. But I don't know how much you remember of that exact scene, Helen. I'm going to guess not an awful lot. But
Where they were sitting in the precinct on the big swing thing for two people, and she's asking why she went away and about her little brother and stuff.
But do you remember what happened after they said goodbye to each other?
I don't. What happened when they said goodbye to each other?
Bethany showed up.
Oh, that's right.
Bethany and Jodie awkwardly greeted each other.
Uh-huh.
And I think Bethany had to remind Jodie that who she was,
Right.
almost.
Yeah,
Oh, no, it wasn't. It was Betsy.
which is even weirder.
And Betsy had to say, I live next door. That's what it was.
Oh, that's right.
That interaction between Betsy and Jodie there was utterly pointless.
Unless it was to show us that Betsy knows what Jodie looks like enough to identify her body.
That's a connection that
The show has
I'm not sure anyone that's not playing 4D chess is going to make.
the show has pretzeled itself in the past. It
really
will
has.
pretzel itself again.
To pretzel. To fuck up one storyline.
To twist and turn to try to make things make sense, and they don't always do.
Yeah, I think I agreed that the way that this was progressed was perhaps the most interesting of all these strands, because it does bring us back to the realm of Graham's van and what exactly she was doing in there and who he was working for. It gets us ever so close to just getting this little tangent between the two shows again. And I don't think Graham's been in Emmerdale that much recently or at all in the past couple of weeks, so there's been no more information from that side, although he did mention her a couple of weeks ago and my wee ears pricked up like
Right.
we're going to get some secret.
And isn't he confronted by the people who hired him at some point?
They
on the
weren't
show?
happy, and
Yeah.
that was it,
And he's like, fuck off.
pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, the final storyline of the night is the lesbian wedding of the century.
The two-lady wedding of the century. The same-sex marriage of Carla, a bisexual, and Lisa, a lesbian.
You're a stickler for detail, Broom.
I am out here defending the bisexual fam. Somebody has to do it.
On Sunday, at the Rape Hotel, Carla is stunned to learn that her wedding reception at the hotel will not be private because it's a hotel. Her interrogation of Ryan on the matter is interrupted when Sheila calls Carla. This was pretty funny. That's Connie's nana, says Ryan, helpfully, just in case anyone's forgotten who Sheila is. It seems Sheila is out of the hospital and healing quicker than expected and definitely hasn't died. Damn it. I think I owe somebody a Coke. And she'll be taking Connie back now, thank you very much. This knocks the wind out of Carla's sails. And she's in a foul mood for the rest of the day.
So what has been the point of this baby? What has been the point of this baby? Just to show Lisa and Carla being maternal for a couple of weeks?
Yeah, maybe for Carla to be clucky.
For her to like soften up a little bit? The softer side of Carla? So we can hear about the one time she almost became a mother and then didn't?
I don't know. I'm honestly surprised that Sheila's still alive.
Yeah, me too.
I thought that
That they'd be...
this character who didn't get one single line of dialogue was going to die before.
Except to go wah, 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 wah on the phone. Like Charlie Brown's teacher.
Yes. I don't think we've seen the last of Connie.
No.
And maybe Sheila isn't long for this world after all. But what this did do,
But
I
even
guess, was
if
get rid of Connie for the wedding.
Right.
Because as Carla herself will say in a little moment, who wants a baby at a wedding?
Right.
So this kind of deals with that. But we haven't seen Doran for
I
God
was
knows how
going to
long.
say, you know,
Doran hasn't seen his mum for more than a year. So
we haven't seen the quads in a while either.
So sticking kids in a room, even at Connie's tender age, and leaving her for her own devices for
Right.
a day or two isn't going to raise too many eyebrows, probably. But yeah, it's a strange question. Like, what was the point of that, or what is the point of that going to be,
Yeah.
other than maybe putting a fly in Swala's ear for maybe adopting or something?
I don't know. I think it was just...
Also, Carla needs to learn that how hotels work.
Well, yes.
And the hotel probably has to have a function room that has a bar in it.
Right.
And then this problem goes away.
Right. And that's the part that floods.
So, after they hand Connie back, Carla tries to take solace from the fact that they will always be part of Connie's life. Although when Swain floats the idea of inviting Sheila and Connie to the wedding, Carla suddenly doesn't want a baby at the ceremony. Jodie also is disappointed that they've taken Connie because this means she's out of a job. Oh well.
Oh, well, you can get more hours at Nina's Rolls then.
On Monday, Swain has written her vows and they're so moving that Betsy cries when she reads them. Well, the problem with doing that is when you hear them
Right.
and they're like, oh, Betsy cried at that?
Yeah.
At what bit exactly did the emotion just get the best of Betsy here?
Did it feel like we didn't get like the whole vows?
No, I think we did.
Kind of felt like it was really shortened and like maybe
It was
maybe
pretty
she
short.
started talking before the commercial break ended and we're just catching the tail end of it.
I know you're joking, but I don't think that's where the commercial break was.
It was on YouTube.
Oh,
YouTube does weird commercial
They
breaks
just-
like right in the middle of a
of a
conversation.
scene, yes.
I've watched things that the movie is essentially over and it's just the credits and it will go to commercial. Mm-hmm. And then you go back to the credits.
I got a month's trial of YouTube Premium.
Uh-huh.
And it was great.
Was it?
Uh-huh. Just not having the
Commercials?
ads, even though I've got a little doohickey that as soon as the skip ad comes up, it essentially does the clicking for me just to
Right.
skip the ad. Because now YouTube's gone to sneaking 3 commercials in every now and again. Like,
Those
you dirty
tricky
bastards.
YouTubers.
Mm-hmm.
Although I guess we shouldn't be too mad at YouTube considering that our content is on there as well.
Yeah, it's starting to make some money with that.
Right, yeah, so
Finally.
shh.
$80 now out of London, thank you very much.
London!
London. So, Carla's impressed that Swain has written her vows already. Already? You're getting married in a couple of days.
Right?
And she says that she's done hers too, but this is an obvious lie, and so she spends the rest of her day staring at a blank page. Betsy suggests that she just rips off the vows that she's used at her wedding to Peter, but Carla thinks that she broke all of them, so they're probably jinxed. There's
Right.
nothing else for it.
And
says,
also, Peter's a man.
There's nothing else for it, says Betsy. You're just going to have to do what writers do when they're blocked. Get fucking wrecked. I quite enjoyed that.
That was funny. They drink!
On Tuesday, it's the night of the dual hen do. Carla's going to the Rovers with Betsy and the Knicker people. Swain has a quiet affair in town with a copper who looks after the dogs. Kirk then.
What dogs?
Police dogs.
Ah.
It's Sally who's in charge of Carla's hen do, and she has loads of activities planned that are inclusive and non-threatening, and everyone reveals that they know that her daughter's a lesbian. That was
hilarious.
so funny.
Sally's trying so hard to be inclusive.
It was a little overdone. It was a little sitcom-y.
Which is fine.
When Betsy says, in case anybody doesn't know, Sally's daughter, and everyone
There's
pipes
a
up the
lesbian.
lesbian. But it was so funny.
Why does nobody talk about the heterosexual daughter? Is Sally not proud of her heterosexual daughter?
That's
at
why
all?
she's going to Hollyoaks.
No, that's the
That's
lesbian.
a lesbian one. Realising that she's forgotten some accessories, she nips over to Dev's, where she bumps into Swain, perusing the lonely meal for one section. Turns out that her quiet night in town was super quiet because no one's organised anything, because Swain has no mates, which I can believe.
You'd think that what's her name?
PC Jess,
Yeah.
she had something on. No one else in her family seems to be bothered enough to get in touch either. This is the saddest thing ever, says Sally. So she drags Swain over at the pub so she and Carla can celebrate together. That was quite nice.
Not even Kit bothered to put something together for Swain.
Nope.
You'd think Kit would do that.
Can't remember what her explanation was for PC Jess and Kit, the only 2 other named cops in that nick. They were both busy.
Yeah, Kit's at the other hen do. I
Is it?
think he's at the other hen do with Sarah. Because Sarah's at the hen do.
He's at the wedding, certainly.
Yes, because we get a very funny line between him and Izzy.
Yes. On Wednesday, thanks to Carl and another storyline, the function room at the Rape Hotel is flooded, so Swain and Carla won't be able to get married there after all. Carla's distraught, more so when Swain points out that their licence specifies a rape hotel, so even if they could find another venue, they're still fucked. Carla nips off for a shite, and this allows Swain and Ryan to chat. Swain says that she'd happily get married in a registry office, and Ryan reminds her that Carla's already done the big wedding, so, you know, Swain thinks the wedding might not be totally fucked quite yet.
Haha.
On Thursday, Sally turns up at number 6 early because some flowers from Michelle have been misdelivered to the house. These are special flowers that say, "Sorry, I can't be bothered to come to your wedding." Carla's still down in the dumps about not getting married and plans a duvet day, but Swain says that Debbie is giving them a free lunch at the Rape Hotel with free bubbly all day, and she orders Carla to get dressed for this romantic meal. Carla moans, but does as she's told, and when her back's turned, Swain asks Sally to do a favour and summons the collective power of the Knicker people.
Da-da-da-da.
At the Rape Hotel, Betsy and Roy are waiting all dressed up, and there's a sign for Carla and Swain's wedding. Just because the reception is flooded doesn't mean they still can't get wed, says Swain.
Right.
We're actually getting hitched, says Carla, and when her voice wobbles, that might have been what set me off.
Oh.
So the two of them get dressed in their wedding gear, and I think they both look amazing. At the bottom of the aisle, Betsy wonders who will be there at the end for them. We'll be there for each other, says Swain, just like always, if you ignore that time a few months ago when I was going to run off to Spain with my dead ex-wife. Swain's vows, which let's remember reduced Betsy to a quivering emotional wreck a couple of days ago, are a bit underwhelming, to be honest.
Yeah.
She talks about everything that she's been through, everything that she put Carla through, but Carla is the first face she wants to see in the morning and the last face that she wants to see at night.
Aw.
It's a bit cliche, isn't it? It's a bit chat GPT, write me a wedding speech.
That's probably what happened. Yeah. And I don't know. Swain's a cop. So she and Carla probably have very different schedules. So I don't think they're necessarily going to be waking up together and going to sleep together every night. There's going to be some fluctuation there.
I think it was more of a generalised.
Well, yes.
Carla's vows are a bit better, I'm going to say. We are our own love story, she says. That was a nice way to start. And then she says, forever please.
What
Forever please was nice.
what does that mean? We are our own love story.
It means whatever you want it to mean, Helen.
It doesn't mean anything. Because of course you're your own love story. Whose else's love story would you be? We are our own love story. Well, yes, that's the truth of most couples, I think.
If anybody's wondering, Helen is the sort of person who sits during a wedding and criticises the speeches. Hands them notes at the end of it.
Usually it's punctuation and
This is why we don't get invited to these things, by the way.
and pronunciation.
I know what you mean, but it sounds good.
Sure. But
And that's
It's
and that's
not-
all you want.
it's not any more or less the same thing as I want to go to bed with you every night and
No.
wake up with you every morning. That's basically the same thing, isn't it?
No, I don't think it's the same thing at all. What bits of those are the same?
They're a bit, well,
I
they're
want
both-
your face, and it's not that she wants to
a
go to bed
cliche.
with her at night and wake up with her. It's that your face being the first thing that I see, and the last thing that I see is cliche. I don't think we're our own love stories cliche. I don't think anybody else has said that, have they? I can't remember anybody else saying that. And Forever Please was nice. They're
like that.
declared wife and wife, and the whole event is so emotional, even the cake's in tears. The first order of business after the wedding is to head to the factory where the alarm's gone off. Luckily, Carla's put the factory key in her white wedding clutch bag, and so she's able to gain access where, surprise, surprise, most of Carla's friends and employees, nobody from Swain's side. All the employees who are on set this week are there to celebrate their love. We fill some time with Kirk attempting to chat up Lauren, Michael saying that if you serve sausage rolls at a black wedding, expect a riot. I don't know what that means. Does that mean that they love sausage rolls or they hate sausage rolls at a black wedding?
I feel like it's an allusion to white English food being terrible. and you would expect better at a black English meal.
Sausage rolls at a wedding. Nobody's putting their nose out at that. I had Scotch pies at my first wedding, and everyone just said to me, "Gav, there's fucking pies here." Like, I know. Help yourself, Dunk. Dunk was had a pie in each hand. He was that happy.
We Are Our Own Love Story is a song by Joel Hecht.
Who?
He's an artist named Joel Hecht.
So, not cliche then. Somebody that you've never heard of has, and a song that you haven't heard has referenced it. So Michael says that about sausage rolls, and then Fizz makes 2 jokes back to back, one of them at Sean's expense. Lauren and Betsy announce their plans to head into town later. No one is quite sure why David's there and why Shona isn't. Later at night, as folks are starting to head home because it's a Thursday night and it was short notice, there's a wee fireworks display outside. Back inside, it's just Swain and Carla, and we hear Betsy scream from the flash forward
Of the week.
episode. Swain wonders what it is. Carla doesn't give a fuck, reckons it's foxes.
She says, "Oh, it's just foxes.
And
It's
drags-
just foxes."
And drags Lisa up for the last dance, and that's how we end this week's episodes.
Foxes sound exactly like Betsy screaming.
Foxes do sound like people screaming.
They can, yeah, but you'd think that they would recognize the voice of their own daughter.
Over music, some distance away. I can
Yeah.
forgive them.
At least it wasn't like, at least it didn't sound like it was coming from the next room. I appreciated that. Because there have been times that people say things in Coronation Street and people should be far enough away that they don't hear them, but then they hear them.
Unless the plot dictates that they're not supposed to.
Right. Yes.
We'll get to the big disappointment in a second. I liked the wedding. I thought it was a little small.
Yes. Well, I think
It
that's
was a
because of
little-
the flooding.
But it was a little COVID-y, I felt.
Yeah. A little.
I wanted something a bit bigger. And I want them to mention or play more on the fact that there's nobody from Swain's side there.
Except for Betsy.
I don't know, I'm sure that I'm calling her own daughter her side.
Well,
Maybe Becky could have got the day out of jail to attend it, just
No.
to try and fill up that side or not.
but again, they really didn't have sides because they're just kind of smushed in a corner in the bar area
Right.
of the Rape Hotel.
But I liked how they...
Convenient that part isn't the part that flooded.
And the electricity is still on because all of the lights and stuff.
Right.
But I thought the layout of it, the decor of it was nice. I thought it was shot really beautiful when they're walking towards the camera down the
Right.
aisle thing. I really liked that. I thought the music choices were good. I just felt a bit small. And I don't know. I understand how much this is important to people, and it's important to everyone, that it shouldn't be the case that a wedding between 2 women is noteworthy, because it should be in soaps all the time.
Right.
But this is noteworthy, and lots of people loved it, and I'm really glad that people loved it, and it served what they were expecting to see,
Yeah.
or what they were hoping to see.
Of course, the second gay wedding of the show happens under duress and coercion, with one being abusive to the other. So Corrie gives and Corrie takes with the same hand, you know.
But no,
So don't expect anything lovely for the second woman-on-woman wedding, whenever that happens.
well, no roofs fell on anybody during this one, so I think that's a step in the right direction.
Right.
So I think it was lovely. I liked the wee touches in it. I liked how it was the sort of the feel of a wedding. There was lots of conversation that didn't mean anything, that didn't add anything to any story. It was just
Right.
people at a wedding, and this is what people talk about, and,
Right,
and
yes.
that sort of thing.
We
I
do
liked
get
Kit.
Kit saying, you know, when Izzy asks him if he's ever been to a lesbian wedding before, and Kit says, "You're joking, right? I'm the police." Which I guess is to indicate that there are lots of gay women in the police.
I guess so. That's what I took from that.
Yes. I liked Izzy's...
Although, if it was from the Michael sausage roll point of view, maybe it meant something completely different to
Right,
what I was
yeah.
expecting. I don't know.
I liked Izzy's hair. I like Izzy's hair that way. It's cut short. She looked really lovely.
I'm not sure that I
It's-
dedicated it
it's-
to my memory.
It's fine. You don't notice hair.
I don't. I really don't. So, all those positive things going for it. I don't know that having it in the middle of a potential murder mystery is the best time to do it.
No,
It detracts from it.
That's kind of a good point here, especially since one of these women is probably going to be the one who's going to be investigating this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Although ethically she shouldn't be because her daughter was the one who found the body. But, you know.
And while we're talking about Corrie giving with one hand and taking away with the other, that feels like that's a big taking away from it. And maybe then the fact that the elephant in the room, we still don't know who's dead.
Right, yeah, which is ridiculous. I thought we were at least going to see the body for the first time. And now we have to wait until the end of next week.
Well, that's a whole shitstorm in its own, isn't it? We're not even
Yeah.
waiting until Monday to find
No.
out. It's the
No.
end of next week.
No, because next week is all flashback.
Oh.
No, don't.
I love how much you hate that button.
Granted, it's not the only button I hate.
And yet, you've offered nothing in replacement.
You wouldn't take it even if I did.
If it was good, I would.
But anyway. What was I going to say? Yeah, it's like this was supposed to be this penultimate, on this day, somebody's going to be murdered. And you're going to have to wait a month and a half to find out who it is.
That's how they pitched it.
Oh, just kidding. We're adding another week. So you're not going to find out in April. You're going to find out in May. Fuck off with that.
I'm not even sure we're going to find out next week. The scene that I think we both had in our minds of someone finding the body, well, Betsy finding the body, Betsy standing over the body, the camera cutting to whoever it was. The more I was thinking about it last week, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't cut to the body, that we just see Betsy's reaction and replayed, and that's going to be the end of the episode, and then we have to wait until next week.
Right.
But no, they actually went one step further and just removed that whole reaction thing. We just get the scream that we already heard.
Right, yeah. And nobody's concerned about that scream.
And
It's just
nothing.
like there's nobody else there. It's just the two of them still dancing, even though Ryan and his equipment have left.
So I guess it gave us the focus of the end of the episode
Right.
stayed on the wedding. And maybe that's how it should have been.
Right.
But your solution to that is don't have this wedding happen in the middle of
Murder mystery.
the murder mystery crescendo big reveal thing.
Right.
I don't know, I guess it just feels like there's no happy medium in this. There's the what you detract from the wedding with the murder mystery part, but then there's also what you detract from the murder mystery part with the wedding, because for most of it, I don't know that we've learned anything new apart from the Jodie stuff. It just feels like we're just circling the airport waiting for the clearance to land on that, and the way that it's been dragged out into another week and then into the end of another week. This is going back to one of the complaints from previous months where there isn't a storyline that isn't dragged out as long as it possibly can, when I think we were right to be expecting at least something this week in that regard that we've been waiting months for. That do you feel a little cheated? I just feel maybe just a little cheated by it.
I feel cheated by having to have one more week of this nonsense.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I don't feel like we were cheated out of necessarily out of like a big, huge same-sex wedding.
I'm not really talking about the wedding. I'm talking about
But
the murder mystery part of it.
right, yes. But it does feel like, and that's what I'm saying. I not really feel like, I feel like the wedding was fine, and I don't understand why they had. Well, I understand from the Carl and Debbie storyline part why the flooding had to happen, but it feels kind of just shoved into the whole, oh no, we can't get married now at the place because it's flooded. And oh, just kidding, we can, but like in this like more restaurant area and not in the special place. I don't like it when shows and movies and books kind of manufacture yet another bump in the road that doesn't really further the story along and doesn't really seem to have a point when it's just going to be fixed quite easily.
Always happens,
Super
though, doesn't
easy.
it?
Barely an inconvenience.
I think we all expected something to potentially delay or postpone it. It wasn't going to go 100% smoothly.
Right, but then it more or less went very smoothly. As far as weddings go, that was a pretty smooth wedding.
It was pretty smooth. It gave Swain an opportunity to leap into action and have a backup plan, and then we have to keep on saying that Carla doesn't like surprises, but here's a surprise.
Right, and
we keep on doing that.
It's not that much of a backup plan. They just have to move it from one room to another in the same place.
And to the knicker factory.
Right, yeah. Which is fine. Shoot, they could have just rented a hotel room and had it in the hotel room. I sent you multiple obscenity-strewed text messages when I found out that we weren't even going to get a chance to see the body this week, and that it's going to be dragged out to flashbacks next week until we finally see the body. And it's like, I am so fatigued by all of these storylines. I'm almost at a point where I don't care who's dead and who killed them.
No. Have you changed your mind on who you think it could be?
No.
It's still either Megan or Theo,
Yeah.
I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone else is fairly
Or
lower
maybe-
down the running.
Yeah. I'd say in order, Theo, Megan, Carl, Jodie, Maggie.
To me, it's swap Maggie and Jodie, and that's the only
You think
change.
you think Maggie is more likely to be murdered than Jodie?
I think Jodie's the safest. But
I
between
don't
the
know
bottom
with
three,
like
it's very close.
the tough guys, the thugs there, that kind
The
of
street
that kind
toughs.
of bumped her above Maggie for me.
So, and this is maybe my main issue with that aspect of it. Nothing that happened this week changes my opinion on who's dying next week.
Right.
And even if we're wrong, I don't think that makes any difference. Something should have happened to change that order a little bit or make us think in a different direction, and I don't think that happened. But I did enjoy the wedding. All right, that was the week that was Coronation Street. Helen, tell me, what was your moment of the week?
Yes, it's got to be the wedding and the vows.
The vows?
Yeah. When they do their vows and then they say I do.
Wife and wife. That is our
Moment of the week.
Moment of the week.
your boring moment of the week.
People telling Kirk he needs to talk to people like a normal person.
Why was Lauren so horrible to him?
Because I think she thought he was coming on to her,
Oh.
which is why she said no and walked away.
Is that what that looks like?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, like that meme of the woman who posts something with a picture of young Axl Rose saying,
Oh,
why
back to
can't
Axl Rose.
why can't I find a guy like this? And then old fat Axl Rose says, hey. And she said, and then she says no. And then Axl Rose says, I'm literally that guy.
Oh.
That's what it reminds me of. You've never seen this?
There's an awful lot going on in that meme.
Yes.
I don't have time to read memes that are that long.
Or what was the other Kirk thing that happened this week? And during the hen do?
He didn't know how to do something and somebody was confused.
Right.
So
Well,
fucking
or
dear
is
God.
it Kirk just talking about trying to be on
Oh, if he lost
on
his password.
dating. Yeah, yes, that's it. It's him. It's Kirk signing up for dating apps and then forgetting his password.
Boring moment of the week.
Dear God.
It was so boring. You punched the button before I even finished speaking.
I honestly, getting reminded of it in any detail was liable to put me to sleep.
Right.
Yay!
All right, we will look back to see what our Twitter followers thought of this week's episodes, whether they thought it was yay, meh, or zzz. I'm not too sure what I expected from this week. I did see some grumblings much off my own that, this is all a little bit dull.
It's setting up next week when we were promised.
Again.
Right. We were promised, that the big things were happening this week, and then they didn't happen, except for the wedding.
Zzz, 20%, meh, 37.5%, and yay, 42.5%. I feel like that's probably pretty close to my own thoughts on the matter.
Yeah.
James said, I wanted to know which of the 5, and now I've got to wait till Monday.
No,
James,
my friend, you're going to be waiting a lot longer than
my
that.
sweet summer child. Then Anne says, very glad most of the episode on Thursday was the wedding, because I was worried it would have been squeezed with the murder chat. The wedding itself was lovely, and to have a lesbian wedding on Corrie is a big thing. If this was on when I was a teen in my 90s, my life would have been different. Thank you very much for those thoughts, Anne and James. Of course, we don't let those thoughts or the scores influence us too much. So, Helen, what score are you going to give this week's episodes out of 10?
6.5.
7.5 for me. But it's really 7.
Yeah.
It's a 7.
Yeah.
I was 8.5 last week, I think.
Yeah. Last week was good because last week held the promise that this week didn't deliver. Mm-hmm. And see, this is what these writers and showrunners need to understand. If you're going to promise something and you don't deliver it, people get mad.
Yeah, you can't say, that many times and get away with it.
No.
All right, we'll wrap this one up then. This episode was brought to you with thanks to our friends of the podcast. Daisy, French Helen, Pickles, DT, Wendy, Noel, Canadian Helen, Christy, Shandy, English Victoria, Aurora Yvonne, Heather Westerfield, Russell Whiting, Brittany Porter, Laurie Anna, Tina, Leah, Tara J, Fiona B, Canadian Jennifer, Josephine Otinge, Anne Greenwood, Trish R, Sarah Purbrick, Ali Q, Honker Munker, Darren, the artist formerly known as Seal My Fridge, Pamela, Marge JT, Tom Ambrose, Christopher Anstey, Terry in LA, Joe T, Corey Dales, Matthew McInerney, Welsh Emma, Matthew S, Rachel B, Uranium Jennifer, Catherine Monchero, Gary Heatley, Pam but not that one, Una, Amy, Jenny Roll, Aussie Ali,
Oi.
Chris Horrocks, Cameron from Edmonton, Matt Birch, Library Jen, Jack the Mariner, David MacArthur, and Saskatchewanian Karina. Thank you very much indeed, folks, for your support. We very much appreciate it. If you've ever at best been obtuse or at worst been deliberately misleading to several million people, write in to tell us about it. We're the talk of the street at gmail.com and we're at Corrie Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads and Blue Sky, or reach us the old-fashioned way, the talk of the street, PO Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan 48827. Our spoiler show will be available shortly after this one, and in this month's classics we're talking about episodes 2304 and 2305. Get access to this exclusive content by becoming a friend of the podcast. Find all the links at corriepodcast.com or in the description below, and be sure to check out our pop culture sister podcast, The List of Lists.
Lee Cronin's The Exorcist.
Thanks for making it to the end of another episode, and we will be back next week with more
A Talk of the Street.
A Talk of the Street.
Bye.
Cheerio.